Inside the Birds is back. What's going on, everybody? It's Geoff Mosher, Adam Caplan. Hey, we got something new coming up, Adam, on Sunday. It's called a 1 p.m. kickoff. Just a normal 1 o'clock kickoff for the Eagles and the Raiders on Sunday at the Linc after, 4 or 5 straight games, prime time, Friday nights, Thursday nights, Monday night, all this crazy stuff. It's nice to see the Eagles come back and play a normal 1 o'clock game again. And Adam, there's a lot at stake. The Eagles are on a 3-game losing streak. It's been a long time since we've said that. But I just want to draw everybody's attention before we get into this pod. If you're someone who likes our show with Greg Cosell called Inside the Tape, where we break down the offense on one show and defense on another, but you're not able to get to all of them, you need to get to this last one. It was really fascinating, of the offensive version. And Adam, I imagine, to take what Greg said and bring it into this discussion, I've had a tough time reconciling the fact that the Eagles, as Greg pointed out, as we showed visually for those who watch on YouTube, they actually added some real high-level NFL pass concepts. They even admitted it and talked about it this week so far in press conferences. Jalen Hurts acknowledged it to an extent. They brought that, and there were some really good throws that Jalen Hurts executed off that. But at the end of the day, not only did they turn the ball over 5 times, twice on one play, which is a little bit flukish, but it didn't really solve, say, their third down issue. They were awful on third down, and it really didn't open it up for a great running game. It was a trick play run game, that big run. So I don't know. Like I think you and I both had the same thought. Like if you do, you have to continue. You have to give this more time. These are good things for the offense, but it's also they have to prove, and Jalen Hurts has to prove that he can use these weapons, make those throws again, but then also limit the turnovers and then hit a few more open players.
You know what's interesting, because people are like, oh, they did this, they did that. Okay, yeah, there were some new concepts, but understand people. They've had plenty of calls that were really good that Hurts didn't execute. That's the thing that people are missing.
Yeah.
Like all this, you saw them hit slants. You saw Hurts throwing inside the numbers. By the way, those throws have been there all season. The tape shows it. We pointed this out, and people yell at us, the Hurts truthers, or get mad at us. Now it's funny. Now they're coming out on our side with Greg, and they're actually complimenting him. Okay, I see what you meant. He's got to hit these throws. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And good on Greg, right? To point out that he felt that Jalen Hurts played a better game than people are giving him credit. This is the guy who everybody says, oh, you're old school at the position. You don't like Jalen Hurts. And then on this worst day ever for the fans, like Greg's like, no, I actually think he made a lot of high-level throws.
It was really interesting. And it's funny. So you did the Patreon. Shout out to our Patreon members. It was great. Boy, that one you did with Greg on Tuesday was great. They were waiting for him to ask him certain questions about, okay, Hurts or this. It's funny because you never know what they're good. They take the thing over, whether you or I are hosting it. We just say we moderate. They just ask whatever they want. And Greg, he does not deflect anything. He answers. Yes, he's a little bit stronger with his information and comments.
Sure.
It's a high level talk, as the one we do on Wednesdays is. Mm-hmm. And by the way, shout out to our latest members, Luis and what was the other guy's name? I'll tell you in a second.
Sure.
That Patreon level 3, and folks, it continues to grow on level 3. That means you get everything we do on Patreon. And this guy, the other new guys is Nick D. We hope to see you in the chats. And you get the big thing is level 3 and level 2. You get no commercials. We understand. We hear you guys with the commercials. We get that, but this keeps a lot of our stuff for free. Some is paid. It's how we pay salaries. It's how we pay the great Andrew DiCecco and Greg Cosell, which is $1 million. I'm just kidding. But that's the Patreon. I was not sure about it, but seeing the support we get and the passion that the fans have, and Eric and Anyebo, the brothers, who are the best, and Al and Frank and Judy and the regular. We get usually there's 40 to 50 people that come to these, but they don't come always at the same time. Of the hundreds who subscribe, because most people just they watch because we see the numbers, the analytics. Most people just listen or watch the replay. They don't come. That's fine, but it's cool. It's like going to a bar. We're all think we keep saying we want to meet you guys. One of these days it's going to happen. But anyway, I digress.
Yeah. But so the point was that the Eagles are trying harder. They're clearly for the first time making an attempt to open the pass offense, to put in concepts that you see other NFL teams run. And you can't call it a colossal failure just because they lost the game, just because they turned the ball over four times. Not all those turnovers came on plays where those new compliments.
And they weren't on him, all on him.
And they're not all on him.
Hurts. That's another thing that people just jump in real quick.
Yeah.
This is what I said. I think people are pointing out because they like that I said this. Some people, and this is not an indictment on sports radio. You and I have hosted it for years. We love sports radio, but sometimes when you're in sports radio, you feel like you have to come in angry because you see what's in social media. Yes. Hey, they're killing Hurts, so we have to kill Hurts.
Right.
We got to scream and yell. He stinks. He's bad. We don't do that here. We focus on teaching. The reason why we're still around 8 years in is because people get it. We're in the information movement here. We're not in cheerleaders movement. We're not in yelling. We don't do that. If you want to, go listen to Bobby's podcast. You don't want to listen to us. Right. If you want to learn to be smart, keep going. That's it.
Good job, Bobby.
Yeah, you like that? You like that?
So again, to bring it back to this week,
yes,
they're going to play a Raiders team that is not good at all. I will say, I've watched the Raiders a couple of times this year. The one thing I'll say about them, for as bad as their roster is, and I think this is a little bit of a testament to Pete Carroll, and I really like their defensive coordinator, Patrick Graham.
He's good.
He is good. And if you look at some of their games against really good opponents, they have been in those games. They just don't have enough. They've lost to the Broncos twice by 7 points and 3 points. Okay, the Broncos are arguably the best team in the AFC. They lost to the Chargers 31-14, but that game was actually 14-7 at the halftime. They lost to the Jaguars by 1. So they have played some I mean, of course, they have a couple of blowouts because they're not good. They lost to the Bears by 1. So what I'm saying, and by the way, they're one of only 2 teams this year to somehow beat the Patriots. That was week 1, which is my favorite expression. Week 1 of the con job. So my point is, we can all look at this Raiders game and say, oh man, at least the Eagles get a gift. Yeah, they're probably going to win the game. I'm going to predict them to win the game, but this Raiders team is probably not going to come here and just be like, here you guys go. Max Crosby plays like every day is his last day in the game of football. Like, you know what I'm saying? And the Eagles offensive line hasn't exactly blocked really great at times this year. So this is it's a game. Like the Eagles can't just walk off the bus and expect that they're going to win. They've got to fix their problems. And as Jalen Hurts, Adam, I don't know if you heard what he said on Wednesday.
I didn't.
He definitely talked about being more detail-oriented. And I know this is all coach and player speak because Gordon Milot has been saying this all year long. More focus, more detail. But this is not the time to lax. You've added something, work on it, let it matriculate, and test it out again against the Raiders and see if you can continue to grow this thing.
One thing I'll say about Hurts, which it's just been time tested. When he's decisive, that bleep comes out of his hand. You go, wow, that anticipation pass. It's funny because
I've watched the Devontae Smith pass like 7, 8, 9, 10 times.
Yeah, I'm in my off. Yeah, so behind me, I have a recording studio tonight. Unfortunately, I can't be over there, but so my recording studio does not have a TV. So behind me is my TV, right?
Mm-hmm.
I watched that play because I have Verizon Fios. I could replay it. I was taping the game, so I might have missed 2 minutes. I was mesmerized by that throw by Hurts. I was like, that's anticipation. That's Brady, that's Manning, and that's Breeze. Okay, and Stafford is not at their level of anticipation, but he's pretty damn good.
Well, if Jalen had looked the other way and made that pass, then it would have been Stafford.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah, when he does that, the no look pass. But I was just like, and people always ask, why can't he do this? Their coaches can't answer this.
Right.
They don't know. But here's the thing we didn't mention with Greg. It shows a mental growth. It shows he trusts the system. This is what Steve Young talked about. Steve Young was a wild child with Tampa Bay when he got there in the mid-'80s before he got to Bill Walsh. He said he never really trusted the Bill Walsh system until maybe year 3 or year 4. Once he did, that's when he had the famous video when he put the blindfold on and he hit Jerry Rice over the middle. He said, because I knew the West Coast system so well. Well, not that we're comparing him to Steve Young, but Hurts, it shows that he's probably trusting a little bit more. That shit matters, excuse my language. Because talking to coaches that you and I have done for decades now, when they start trusting it because they do things they weren't doing very well earlier. We saw it in the Minnesota game that pass to A.J. Brown. This pass to Smith was like, wow, that's high-level quarterback play. We can't guarantee he'll ever do it again. but you have to feel like he's starting to trust the system. And based on what you just said, what he said Wednesday, that's good. That's what you want to hear. Doesn't mean he won't throw 3 picks next week. Probably won't happen.
Yeah.
And we'll break down the game with Greg. I mean, I know their personnel pretty well. And Greg Olson, their offensive coordinator, is super aggressive. Like he's not. I know he had to fire Chip Kelly because he was terrible.
Right.
Greg Olson, not the Greg Olson on Fox, but Ole is a old time. I want to throw the ball. He been flipper very close.
Mm-hmm.
Ole is super aggressive throwing it. Now it may rain. The weather is supposed to be mid-30s, dreary. Let's hope it doesn't rain. Yeah. I know we'll get more to this with Greg on Friday or Saturday whenever we do the pregame show. With the personnel is very bad on offense. It's actually atrocious, mostly atrocious, but he can make it look better because his thing is throwing it, and we'll see what happens. I just want to put that out there because you just talked about how they could be competitive. Okay, I want to play off that. Mm-hmm. They and we'll see if we'll get to the Raiders injury report. They have a couple interesting players on offense that just haven't gotten the job done. Genti, everybody knows about, but they have some interesting receivers. Mm-hmm. But Colton Miller, and we'll get to their injury report. He's been out since week 5. He may be playing this week, so we'll talk about that when we get to their injury report.
Yeah, my biggest to just wrap it up. My biggest concern would be for Jalen that because of the 4 turnovers, that he goes back to not wanting to trust those throws.
Yes, don't be risk averse. Right, because it's been on my mind.
It was beautiful when he trusted it.
And none of us can say whether he'll do it. I don't know. He's never trusted the system. Part of it's. And I heard Mike Gill ask you this question or bring it up. Part of Jalen's problems, I'm telling you, I know this for a fact because I asked people, is having so many different play callers. He's never had anyone for 2 full seasons. Remember, Steichen didn't have 2 full seasons. He had a season and a half.
Yeah.
That matters. Like that. And sometimes you're overthinking. That's something we've heard from, about other quarterbacks before. Sometimes they overthink. I don't know what it is, but I could tell you that they're not very good at corner, the Raiders. They have size. Mm-hmm. They definitely have size, but there are going to be opportunities there. And then on your point, as we move on here, does he take advantage of it? That's the question.
Very big question. All right, let's get to some of the transactions and the injuries. The biggest transaction that was supposed to mean something for this game happened, unfortunately, for Eagles fans a few weeks ago when the Raiders fired Chip Kelly. Because I can only imagine, as angry as the Eagle fan is right now already at their own team, I can only imagine how bad
I would have loved it. I would have. Yeah. He would have got booed. They would have booed him like crazy.
It would have been awful. Yeah.
that would have been wild, man. We one of these days we'll have to have our Chip Kelly stories.
Yeah. Oh God.
He's a different guy. I always got along with him, but man, he's so hard to figure out, and I'll leave it at that.
Yes, a unique fellow for sure. The other transaction, obviously, the Eagles, if you've seen, they waived Cam Adamitis, the long snapper. I like the jokes people were putting on social media. That's true accountability, for Jake Elliott's missed field goals. But what it really was is because Charlie Hewlett was in the ready to get into the practice window. So you imagine everything will
be ready.
Copacetic with him. And or else why would they have? He was a full participant
right
in Wednesday's practice.
Yeah, they didn't work any. Just let you know, they did not work out any. I know they got home at 7. They landed at like 7:30 or something on Monday morning. So they didn't work anyone then, but they didn't work anyone out on Wednesday. So that would tell you that it's probable that Charlie Hewlett will be available for this game. And by the way, Hewlett's injury, abdomen. That it's not a lot that this happened, but usually when they say abdomen, it's I don't want to say sports hernia because Dr. Myers will be mad.
Yes, it's core muscle.
Core muscle surgery, yes, it could have been, but because it's been really 2 months. That's typically 6 to 8 weeks is what it takes.
Right.
Although I know Dr. Myers has got people back if they really needed to, athletes be back sooner if he had to. But so Hewlett was designated for return. He's trending well. Miles Hinton will not play this season. He was not activated in time. His practice period expired. I hate this rule. You might have heard me if you listened to my injury update last week for the Charger game. Mm-hmm. It's just dumb. Like, okay, you're not letting him back. He was not activated, okay? But why can't he practice? He's a rookie. Well, why can't you let him practice? What's wrong with that? You penalize him? Stupid.
I would suspect, Adam, it's because that is their counteractive, the NFL's way of counteracting the stash, the phantom injury stash. All right.
But you can't, he can't play or practice. So what's the difference?
Well, but if he could practice, then you could get something there, right? You're saying, why can't he practice? If they allowed him to practice.
No. If the Eagles let it expire, right? So the Eagles knew. Yeah, he's on IR. He's done. He was designated for return. They had 21 days to make a decision. They felt he wasn't ready. For whatever reason, he wasn't ready. But so what? So the rule is stupid. Okay, I'm good with he can't play. Okay, the 21-day window, they didn't think he could play. He's not allowed to play. But you won't let him practice? Why set the player back? He's a rookie. It's not fair to the player. Because by the way, last week he didn't play, but he practiced. So he wasn't allowed to practice today because the period expired. It's just dumb. It's a setback to the player. It's why penalize something
because he's on IR though, right? That he can't practice.
No, but here's my point though. Yes, he is, but they designated him for return. Why not let him? Why not say, okay, you're not allowed to play because you weren't activated within 21 days, but why not let him practice?
Yeah, no, I get that, but I feel like then you can, especially the Eagles, because they always do these kind of things. Like it opens up the door to be able to circumvent. Like if he could practice, then you could see the Eagles stockpiling a lot of guys, saying they're injured, having their window expire, then having them out there practice, knowing that they can't play.
I get that, but just so you know, the league checks up on this stuff. I remember talking to a club about this a couple of years ago. It goes, no, we can't stash. No, it's what happened is you either have to take the league gets they get all the practice footage.
Yeah,
they know if you're doing that shit. And by the way, the league does show up periodically to make sure you're not doing something with the injury reports. It's another little secret,
right?
That the league doesn't talk about, which is absolutely 100% true because I've talked to them about it. Mm-hmm. So I just think it's unfortunate because kids like this need work, But I know what you're saying. Yeah. Like if he's real close, why not just activate him? Just have him inactive, because remember he would have to take up a rush spot if you activate him to the 53. Then yes, I just feel bad for the kid that he won't. But just to move on from this, I just feel bad for him because if he's like 90% ready. Oh, sorry, 21-day window is up. Although you can't play the season, we're also not going to let you practice. That's the thing I just think is wrong. But,
yeah, I get that. I hear what you're saying. It's funny because the Eagles are going to wind up having basically an entire offensive line full of guys on the team, but who are not going to play. From Willie Lampkin at center to
another one,
Drew Kendall. You got 2 tackles, Hitton and Cameron Williams, right, who are never going to play this year. And I'm sure there's some other guy I'm not thinking of, but they could literally have a whole offensive line's worth of guys who don't play this year.
Yep.
Very interesting. All right, let's get to the main injuries. So on Wednesday's practice report, just so everybody knows, it's an estimation, but it is an estimation of if they had a practice because what they did was a walkthrough. So if they were to have practiced on Wednesday, Jalen Carter and Lane Johnson would not have been participants. They were listed as did not participate. I think it's pretty based on what we've heard and talked about. It's very unlikely about Jalen Carter playing this weekend, and Lane Johnson. We'll see, right? I mean, I not being able to be out there on the first day, the walkthrough, or gives me a little pause. But I guess we got to see as the week goes on.
Yeah, it doesn't give you an indication whether it'll be ready or not. But based on what Aaron Borgman told us, a former assistant trainer for the Eagles and Chiefs. You got to hear this. We're going to put it's for Patreon, but we're going to give you he did. We went over a lot of players. We're going to put the Lane. If you're not a Patreon member, we're going to put the Lane Johnson one out for free. You got to hear this thing. I've known about this injury since Deuce Staley had it, back in 2000. But man, the detail he had stuff I never heard before.
Including the history of the name Liz Frank and how.
Well, I knew that, but the stirrups and because Mike Mamola brought it up because that ended Mike's career. And Mike told Andrew, was it Andrew? Maybe it was just me and Mike. I can't remember if Andrew was with. No, it was me. No, it was me and Merrill Reese and Mike doing for WBCB. And I asked him. I said, "Didn't you have a list, Frank?" He goes, "Yeah, it ended my career." I'm like, "Oh man," and he explained it because you have to remember, Mike Mamola was an explosive edge rusher. He wasn't obviously a great player, but he was very serviceable. People thought he was a bust. He wasn't a bust. It's just
No. Yeah,
he
I hate
had a
that.
bad injury, and back then, before we move on, they weren't quite up. The league wasn't quite, and medical science wasn't quite up on that for athletes. The Liz Frank
Right.
injury.
Right.
But anyway, I just want to mention, you got to hear this couple. Hopefully you get it out by Friday. It is phenomenal what Aaron did. Oh no, wait, we already have it out there, right?
Yeah, it's up. It's up. People.
It's out there. Yeah, listen, folks. Go. But one more little nugget for you. Look at the shirt he's wearing, and and Aaron gives you the story. It's crazy.
Yes.
Funny.
That's If you watch the YouTube version, you'll see the awesome shirt. I did cut the story out though of the shirt for the mainstream because that's
okay.
That's for our insider Patreon content. That's
I got it. But it's
anybody
really
who
funny.
sees the shirt will get the flashback.
But I got it when he said what it was. I got it. What game it was.
Right.
Yeah. Although it's funny with Merrill. Merrill and I hosted BCB on Tuesday. I thought the Randall punt was against Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
He said it was against the Giants. I didn't look it up. I was hosting the show, so I didn't have time to look it up. But folks will remember that I think that Buffalo game in the early 90s was the Fred Barnett game. I'm not going to look it up here, but I remember watching it because that game was in Buffalo and we're talking about. But Randall had a 91-yard punt, which is insane.
Yeah. Arkansas Fred. All right.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So back to the injury report. Yes. Something that I view as not great is that Landon Dickerson was listed as limited with the calf injury. And it's not, to me, Adam, it's not great because he's just been banged up all year. And the calf is new. That happened in the game. Yep. You can add that to back and knee and now calf and limited. And, even if even if it trends toward playing.
I would be shocked if you don't play, to be honest with you.
I tend to think you're right. But, he's not 100%. And now that's another thing that he's dealing with. This is separate. This is not the back. This is not the knee. It's a calf.
Correct. And can I just say, people are wondering, well, what's happened to the Eagles' offensive line? Look at their health. Now, we don't know what's going on with Mailata. We're looking into it. He's not been on the injury report, but he's had a disappointing year. We know about Steen's very average. We've talked about that. He's playing out of position. It's not working great. Juergens has been medical, injury, surgeries, not himself. Dickerson's not been himself. And Lane Johnson's hurt. So do the math, folks. They're shelved what they once were physically because of injury. I mean, that's just, and then they got a new guy who's not been great. That's that.
Yep, that is true. So we'll see. And by the way, someone asked me, I think it was maybe Mike Gill during our Football at 4 segment. It was a great question. I don't know if there's an answer to it. I don't even know if a doctor could have a great opinion on it, but has the years and years of tush pushes and the collisions taken its toll on the offensive line? And I can't say yes and I can't say no. I know Jason Kelce argued that it's one of the safest plays in the NFL. I kind of think that Jason's going to argue that regardless.
Of course, he did.
And because he's smart, he's going to articulate why. And it's true, nobody's suffered an injury on the play. But what we can't say is the wear and tear involved of that play and executing it and practicing it. Maybe it's a fair question. I just don't know. But clearly the offensive line's been beat up.
Yeah, and then you have the extension of the winning the Super Bowl into February. They're beat up, postseason surgeries, not having a normal offseason.
Yep.
It's subjective, but there's really no way to know why they've broken down like this. Right. Other than we told you folks when Juergens was drafted, there was concern from scouting circles about his injury history, the lower body at Nebraska, and then Dickerson we knew was a medical. He would have been a mid to late first round pick if not for 4 different knee surgeries. I mean, we're not going to talk draft now, but they're going to have to address this in the draft. Like they have to have better depth. I mean, that's just they need guys who can play and play at a higher level. I mean, when they're healthy, that's the way it is.
Agree.
Yep.
On the good news front, Zach Baun and Charlie Hugh that we just talked about, him were listed as full participants. So we will see as the week goes on, and of course, we always cover the final injury report on the Inside the Birds pregame show with us two and Greg Cosell. So those are Eagles injuries. So Adam, Colton Miller, what's for the Raiders? Because he's a really good left tackle.
Yeah,
he's a stud. He doesn't get a whole lot of pub because the Raiders usually stink and they're all out, but he's a good player.
I'll give John Gruden credit because I got to tell you, Colton Miller, by the way, represented by former Niners and Raiders guard Jeremy Newberry. How about that one?
Oh, how about that? Yeah.
Yep. So basically, Miller is a tall, angular left tackle. Didn't have great footwork, not functionally strong enough. out of UCLA, and he turned out to be just a fantastic player. The league, a lot of teams missed on him.
You're 100% right about that.
Dude, I remember a buddy of mine who's unbelievably sharp. He said it was the worst evaluation he's ever done in his career. He said, I missed so bad. He goes, I pride myself on never getting anything wrong. He goes, it's one of the 5 bad ones I've had in my career. He just didn't see it. And he, when guys miss, they always go back. Okay, what did I miss?
Yes.
He said he went back and missed on that one. But I'll give a trivia question without looking. Who's his backup?
Colton Miller's backup?
Yeah,
backup left tackle.
You won't get it. You said
that.
Yeah, you won't get it. Yeah, you won't get it.
Alan Barbary.
Very cool name, by the way.
Oh, so it's not Alan
or Barber. Or Alan Barber. Stone Forsythe. Yes.
Dylan Forsythe. He played for was
Stone.
the Bucks?
Stone Forsythe.
That's right. Stone Forsythe. No, he used to play for the Chargers, didn't he?
No. This is a different guy. Stone Forsythe was drafted by the Seahawks in 21. He played for Pete Carroll.
Okay.
He is a huge dude. He's 6'7". And it's funny because Pete likes everything. He runs his running backs with size, his linemen with size,
corners.
But look, Dylan Parham, who played for our guy Ryan Silverfield at Memphis, and Ryan now is at Arkansas.
Yeah, congrats to him.
I know, good for good for him. He got out of there, but their line is not great. Jackson Powers Johnson is on IR. He won't be available for this game. Their offensive line's not very good. They've not done a good job over the years of developing it, but getting Colt Miller back potentially would be great. Geno Smith is, as of now, is not expected to play with right hand and right shoulder injuries. That's why Kenny Pickett came in, and they're expecting him to start. They're basically working on the assumption right now that Smith won't be available. Pickett is going to get the ones. A kid I really like is Dante Thornton. He's a rookie receiver who had a great training camp. He's got length. He's explosive, a little bit raw, but he could run. He had a concussion. He missed last week. He's out of Tennessee. This kid could play, but he just needs to be developed. My man Trey Tucker, who's explosive, played at UC. He starts with Tyler Lockett. Pete Carroll can't quit his Seahawks. He just can't.
I know they're getting Jack Betch a little bit on the field, but yeah, I mean Tyler Lockett.
Besh but it's pronounced Besh, so you know.
Besh, that's what I said, right?
Yes. He was severely overdrafted. He should have been. If he turns out to be one of the best slot receivers in the NFL, hey, I'll say I was wrong. Well, he's a little bigger than he's a little bit bigger than your normal slot. We'll see where we'll ask Greg where he's lining up mostly, but he should have been a 4th or 5th round pick based on the people I spoke with. There was some shock when he went in the 2nd round. I was like, wow, kind of situation.
Yes,
at a TCU, but you know what? They don't have a lot left. Tyler Lockett won't make he'll be on the almost Hall of Fame list. He was a really good player.
And the Eagles can't lose this game, man. They can't.
Well, I said that I'm sure when we did our pregame show, hang on, 2 years ago, Cardinal game.
I know.
I'm like, they're not losing that game. I'm sure I picked the Eagles in that game. I'm sure I did.
This Eagles defense is so much better that even maybe the offense is so bad that the Eagles win 10-0, but they cannot lose this game. I don't know. They just can't lose.
Dude, the Raiders have so little. The Titans actually have more talent than the Raiders. That's how bad the Raiders are. They just play hard. Genty. It's funny. Greg got absolutely massacred when he said he thought Hampton was a better player than Genty.
He did.
So
that's right.
I know it's early. I get it. Chip Kelly was a disaster as a play caller, but Genty is the only running back I've ever seen that plays to contact. It doesn't. This is the NFL. It doesn't work.
No, it doesn't. I mean, I do think. I think there are really good days ahead for him. I kind of believe in him.
Better, sure, but
you're right. He can catch the ball a little bit though, so it's not like he's completely reliant on just smashing into guys. But you're right. When you play with that kind of contact balance and lever, you got to make guys miss too.
Yeah, I mean, watch Hampton just came off ankle surgery. I know overall wasn't great, but watch Hampton COD, which means that's a scouting term, change of direction.
Yeah,
for his size, it's phenomenal.
It is good. It is
really
good.
It's one of the rare times when teams gave out what they were going to do for the draft. They were so hot on Genty, or I think that's the way he pronounces it.
Genty,
I assume it is, but we'll figure out. Remember Rashad Genty, the linebacker from the Bengals?
I do.
Remember Eagle? He was on the Eagles at one point.
Yes, he was.
But anyway, it's it's tough to win when you don't have enough talent. It's just really hard. And I'd be shocked. I'd be shocked. There's no way we're picking you're not picking I know you're the contrarian. You're not picking the Raiders.
I will not be picking the Raiders to win.
Or actually, I'm going to fire you now. And you're a player. I have to fire you. By the way, I'm not. It's funny because I said when we did our post-game show, I came this close to changing my pick right before I had a gut feeling Eagles would win. And when they came back, I'm like, here we go. See, I'm an idiot. Why didn't I change it? And then I turned out to be you. Three of us were right. Is that
It's crazy? Not only that, but both Ray Didinger and Derek Gunn picked the chart. So it was a 5.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh my God.
Yeah, you couldn't tell by all the angry YouTube comments we were getting.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, no, it's funny because they're
keep that energy when they win the game and
exactly.
Get off the bandwagon, don't get back on it. Stuff that like people think. I'm still amazed that people take offense to picks. Picks are
they get really well. No, but here's what happened. So when I did power rankings for FoxSports.com, it got to be so bad I asked off of them because people like you could be pissed off at me because you don't like what I put out there or I had a comment. But when you make it personal over power rankings, really, what is your problem?
That's just ridiculous.
That's what you're saying. Like, really, their game. Who gives a shit what we think of game picks?
Yeah, it's just a pick. Plus, it also doesn't mean anything because on any given Sunday, if you're like me, I kind of like to look for where I think the upset might be. It's not that I think that the other team is always better, but man, people get so tribal about it. It's crazy.
Oh, no. Greg kind of blows it off, but I think about it. I give it a thought. Yeah. Greg's like, I gave it. He does the Sal Powell. Sal Powell says when he did the matchup show, in my 30 seconds of tape study, I always love when he says that.
Yeah. But my 30 of analysis, he'll say.
I just felt like I get a gut feeling about Hurts sometimes. He rises to the moment when you least expect it. I just felt, and I know overall you can't excuse the turnovers. He did. There was some. We'll move on. There's not much left in the show, but I just wonder, can he build on this? Yes. Is he capable of it? Yes. Why he doesn't do it, I don't know. But it's like that and who is Bigfoot. You can't figure these things out. You just don't know. I love that line. I saw a line from the late Richard Lewis, I think. But yeah, I don't know. He has it in him. That's what I'm going to tell you. You could call him a middle of the road quarterback all you want. That's fine. I'm not going to argue with you. But to say he's not capable is complete nonsense. We pointed this out repeatedly this season. Look at that throw. Okay, that one sucked. Look at this throw.
Yeah.
Okay, so he can do it.
Let's end this with a really interesting stat that I saw because we were just talking about a little bit. Do you know who Tony Holzman Escareno from NFL? He's an NFL researcher.
I'm following a lot of those guys. I may, but I don't know. Go ahead.
His Twitter handle or X handle is @NFL_researcher. And his stat is only 2 NFL players have 50 or more carries this year that have gone for 0 and negative yards. 0 or negative yards this season. Only 2 players have 50 or more carries. Do you want to guess which 2 players those are?
Genty?
Yep.
Because he's had a bad year, so I'm not surprised.
Genty and
the guy he's playing against.
Yes. Saquon.
Well, see, this is and the reason why I know it because they're so bad. I know you can't run every off tackle last week outside zone. They did great. Inside, forget. They can't. They literally, if the defense backed their lineman off 10 yards, they still would get a yard on it or 0. Yeah. They just can't run inside because these guys physically can't do it.
They can't. But
I don't know what you
makes for a whole lot of passing in store on Sunday with it. No, both these teams. Well, the Eagles still try to run.
They should.
I've talked to some AFC people I know about the Raiders, and they're like, even for Pete, they don't run the way you think that they would run. So maybe they'll get back to that if they have.
Good luck.
We'll see.
Good luck.
Yeah. All right. That is going to do it for this episode of Inside the Birds, the leading podcast in the Eagles Intel. As always, we thank you for flying with us inside the Birds.